Since 2008, the Conservative federal government is closing the doors to Canada, making it harder to become a Canadian citizen, making it harder to sponsor family members here to Canada, and also cutting vital healthcare services to refugees. We're very concerned about the changing direction that Canada is taking.
And the purpose of the event was to educate people about the changes that are occurring. Limiting access to citizenship, reducing family sponsorship, and the way in which the changes are taking place. And also an opportunity for community members in Manitoba to ask a panel of experts their questions about the changes, and also a call for action of what we can do as Canadians to make sure our voices are heard by our leaders.
The changes are vast, they're sweeping, and there's never been so many immigration changes that have happened in such a short period of time.
100 years ago, this country had some vision. We were building a nation. In 1910, Sir Wilfrid Laurier made a famous speech in which he said the 20th century belongs to Canada. And he said that because he had in mind a population for Canada of 100 million people by the year 2000. Well, of course, we only got to 33 million. We got a third of the way there. Yet what we have been seeing more recently, and it's written right into Canada's Immigration Act, is that that immigration in Canada is defined as a labor market strategy. Nothing about creating a nation, nothing. It's a labor market strategy. In other words, we're going to bring in enough people and the right people so that we can feed our machines and our services and keep them rolling. That to me is a very limited, narrow view of the way things ought to be. We have an amazing country. We have a huge country. We have an underpopulated country, and we're not taking advantage of that. Canada could be a much larger player in the world than it is if it had more people. And we make it so difficult to get here on a family reunification basis. We're so concerned with the qualifications that the arriving person brings with them, and yet those qualifications that bring a person here because of the qualifications are going to be irrelevant in maybe 35 years after they arrive, because they'll be either retired or dead. And what is important is what they leave behind. And what they normally leave behind are their progeny, their kids. I know all kinds of people who are coming into this country as refugees with very limited qualifications, and they get here and they lead very ordinary lives. But their kids are exceptional. I see this over and over again. That's how you build a nation. You don't build it because you bring in the right person to run the right machine. You bring it in because you have a vision of what that family can do in the years ahead.
Our family became refugees in 1972 when my mother, who's here today, got a letter. We were living in India at the time, and she got a letter from a missionary that knew us, that knew our family. And the letter told her that her immediate family had been wiped out. They'd been killed. And it was at that point that we became refugees. As it turns out of a family of 8, my aunt managed to escape. And my grandmother also survived. But the rest of the family was gone. The private sponsorship program didn't happen just by magic. The government didn't decide just to give it to us. They were pressured by ordinary Canadians who said, we want to do this. We want to be able to reach out, name people that we want to sponsor, and bring them here. That's how that program happened. It was people like you and me. And that program grew well beyond the vision of the people that first started it. So I think they initially thought a few hundred people, and it's grown to thousands of people, a program that people look at across the world and think is incredible. So when our ancestors came to Canada, if those rules had been in place, the rules that are in place now and the rules that are coming down the pipe from the government, if those rules were in place, would we have been allowed in Canada? So I would like to leave everybody with one thought, which is, we are, and I'm so grateful to be in this wonderful country. The doors were open to us. Let's not allow this government to close the doors behind us. Let's not allow this government to close the doors behind us. And it is our government, and we need to hold them accountable. And everything that has happened so far in terms of allowing refugees into Canada has happened because of ordinary people like us. And so I would really urge us to continue to do what we're doing, but also to challenge the government in terms of what they're doing by signing these postcards, wearing the buttons, organizing kitchen table meetings. I'd be happy to come out and speak to whoever, and I know that Minister Melnick is also really interested in speaking to a wide variety of people around this issue so that we can inform ourselves, know what the issues are, and we can call our MPs, let them know what our concerns are, so that the government knows what our values are, instead of allowing them to shape our values for us.
Now sometimes I wonder, if I am a superwoman, taking care of my 4 kids, doing my nursing job, manning my martial arts school, training other students, if I am given the support and opportunity to do a study, I would. Because sometimes I wonder, what if we challenge a Canadian-born, or maybe anybody who's born with an English tongue, take that IELTS. Wonder what the scores would be. The right hand says this, the left hand says that. Principles go this way, but actions are going this way. But in Manitoba, I believe, our right hand does this, our left hand does that. Because we Manitobans knows what's best for Manitoba.
Yeah.
Everybody working with immigrants are seeing changes happening every month. We used to have the changes from immigration April 1st, the forms will change, the law will change, but now we see changes happening every week, every 2 weeks, every month. We stopped to take an application for the sponsorship of the parents in 2011. And we created a new, this famous super visa that we thought that our parents are going to come to Manitoba. What a joke. Let me tell you, from 10 applications we do in an office, only 2 are coming. The rest are refused. Yeah. You have all the requirements, you have the legal amount, you are buying insurance for your family, but when they go there and apply, the application is refused. In my personal case, I have my sister. I'm coming from a family of 5, and 4 of my brothers came to visit me, no problems. And my sister, she was refused the visa 4 times, 4 times. I work in the area, I'm getting letters of support from everybody, and when she goes to the embassy, the application is refused. Why? Because she's single and she's female, so they think she's going to stay here.
Thank you for watching today's video. The steps that we are going to take next is to engage the federal government with the people and through the people. In this democracy of Canada, we intend to mobilize the ethnocultural communities, the established Canadian communities, and our First Nation communities to collectively send a message to Jason Kenney and the federal Conservatives that immigration in Canada must remain open, that the doors of Canada must remain open, that all Canadians, new and old, believe that the future of Canada lies in creating this into a multicultural, welcoming, accepting nation.